You need you to be able to do that.
See, I know, right? Hello, and welcome to Passing for Perfect. I'm Corey,
I'm Kynisha.
and Corey can't see right now, so Corey trying to clean his glasses.
Tori was supposed to do that before the camera started rolling.
I was trying, but I was distracted. You
Anyway,
over there looking all cute and stuff.
anyway, tonight's episode is a
It's user friendly tonight, so y'all ought to have a lot to say tonight, all those good things. Um,
is user friendly.
guess that what you would call it, user friendly, as friendly as you want it to be for the user. I don't know. I can't see, so I can't think. Let me see. Let me put on my eyes.
Can't see, so we can't think. Okay, so tonight's episode was kind of a stem off of what happened last week. If you tuned in with us last week, we did an after dark episode. It was a little, not risque, but on the explicit side, we talked about some things of the sexual nature. Um, why men and women struggle. And a friend of mine who was watching and shared the video, someone watched the video that from his side of the world, one of his friends, and they called him and was like, yeah, but what about this? And the thing that they said was like way off topic. It had nothing to do with the subject at hand. It was a deflection. And the friend that called him was a female. And basically, I told him women do that when they don't want to accept accountability, when they're guilty of the thing that we're talking about, but they don't want to be like, yeah, that's me. Instead, they deflect and they refocus the conversation and it turns into a whole other conversation instead of what we're talking about right now in that moment. So today is somewhat of a spinoff from that. I think we've seen a lot of that without characterizing it that or titling it that. We've seen a lot of in our society women not taking accountability for and unfortunately I don't want to say this to be to sound arrogant as a woman, but I think it's pretty well known that whatever the spirit of the woman is, so goes everything around her. So there's this thing called your face.
I'm just waiting.
There's this slogan,
I'm
this
just
this
rocking.
phrase that started up some years ago. Happy wife, happy life. And the question we posed today about it was fact or crap. Is it fact or is it crap? If the wife is happy, then everybody, the whole house, everybody's gonna be happy because she's happy. Because if she's not happy, then she's gonna make everybody else miserable. So is that fact or crap?
And the fact of crap, the part about it is it's both.
It's
It's
fact
both.
and crap.
It's fact and crap. Because I feel like it's both. I feel like it's fact and crap. I feel like it's crap for one because you being happy doesn't necessarily make sure that I'm happy.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily solve the happiness of everybody in the household. Does it make it easier? Does it make it better? Probably so. But at the end of the day, you, at the end of the day, happy wife, happy life is a selfish way to look at that whole thing when it comes to relationships. A lot of people will say happy wife, happy life because that means she's not nagging, she's not bothering you. She's gonna be doing the things you ask. But I see people who go bend over backwards, go out of their way to make sure their wife has everything she needs, wants, or desire, and they see it as a right. Like it's not reciprocated.
They're entitled to
They're
it.
entitled to it, and they don't do anything about it in return. Like they don't feed anything back into that spouse. So the spouse is just giving, giving, giving. He's doing everything. And a lot of times men do it just to shut a woman up. I don't want to hear you complain. I don't want to hear you bitch. I don't want to hear you moan. Any of that. So what you want? You want the new Michael Kors bag, you want the new Benz, you want a new furniture, you want a bigger wedding ring.
I do want new furniture.
You want to go this place, you want to go that place, you want to do that. As long as it makes that woman shut up so he can have some peace. He has peace, but he doesn't have happiness because he's still not happy. He's still not satisfied. Being at peace and being happy, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. Like I don't think necessarily because you have peace, you're happy. You have peace, but a hermit has peace, but it doesn't necessarily make that hermit happy. So I think that whole happy life, happy wife thing was something created by some wives.
You think?
Yeah. Or it was created in a room full of men who was like, man, I know how to get her to shut up and stop nagging. You want to be able to go and watch the game and hang out with your friends, make sure she happy. Make sure she don't have nothing to complain about so you can go out.
Or what if she complains about that?
You can't win.
So you stay home.
But that's not happy. Because you may be happy going hang out.
Happy life, happy life. So if I'm happy with you being in the house and not out with your friends.
Once again, that comes to crap. Because at the end of the day, you're still, even though being married, two become one, we become one in mind, body, and spirit, but personality wise, we don't become the same person.
Correct.
We don't end up with the same. We're gonna start to like some of the same things and similar things, but that don't make us like this carbon copy of each other. Right. I like to do stuff.
Yeah. For those of you joining us now, we are talking about that slogan, happy wife, happy life. Is it fact or is it crap? Like, is that really how things are? Or the way things need to be for the spirit of everything around that woman to be good? Got to keep her happy. She needs to be happy. Like, that's the priority of the household. Is if mom or wife is happy, then everything around her will be happy. Or is that just some crap? And the B part of the conversation is, do women avoid accountability?
Yes. Yes.
It wasn't a question. I was just saying.
I thought you were asking a question.
I was not. I was just
my bad.
Giving the people what we talking about.
Okay.
But since you was so adamant about your answer, do tell. What makes you no, tell us. Do tell us. Tell us what
because you
just come out with that strong
because women do avoid accountability. Because and me saying women avoid accountability is not saying that men don't.
A situation.
I am going to give you a situation. Okay. You know I have a story. I always have a story.
Tell it.
So I want to preface this because I know how y'all women get.
Not all women.
I know how women get. I didn't say all.
Okay.
Okay, so I know how women get. They will go straight on the defense. And that's what I mean. That's an example of avoiding accountability.
Right.
You'll go straight on the defense when something is not a personal attack on you. You see it all the time in the comment section.
Very much.
A man will say how he feels and how his experience with women, certain types of women are. And women immediately run into the comment section to tell him that he's wrong. I'm not that woman. I'm not that person. That's you choosing bad women. That's this, that, and the third. Or it could be something as simple as, babe, I felt this way about this, or you did that. And instead of a woman just saying, You right, baby. I'm sorry. My bad. You want women, let me not say you, because then they'll be thinking I'm talking about you.
We're just gonna say women.
Women will turn around and say, give an excuse of why they did what they did, or an explanation of why they did what they did. I don't need your reasoning. I need you to say, my bad, I made a mistake. Take some accountability for your actions. It's even the same thing when it comes to relationships. Every man you meet ain't shit. What are you doing? What choices are you making? What environments are you in that you continue to pull the same? What have you done with yourself to fix whatever the energy you're putting out is the energy that you're drawing in. So whatever you're passing out to people, you're getting it back.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with
Hey,
that.
it's something going on. You just can't be that bad at making choices.
I do. First of all, let's do this. Men, for whatever reason, start their life off as until they become fully aware, fully self-aware, fully mature. Well, I don't even know when that happens, but mature enough to engage wholeheartedly in a relationship. Men are connivers.
Con-
Uh,
Connivers.
Until
Wow.
they're con artists.
Wow.
You all come here as con artists until you mature, until you become self-aware, until you have figured out what you want exactly. Until then, y'all just BS your way through things, and women catch the fallout of that. There are very few men. Feel me now. Hold on. Let me get there.
I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
There are very few men
I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Who grow up thinking about the woman, the wife they want. Like I've said before in another podcast, women grow up thinking about the wedding. They play dress up. They're most times in weddings as they grow up. Little girls, they're flower girls, so they get this big fairy tale thing in their brain. And, every Disney movie that's shoved down our throats is that woman getting the Prince Charming and all these things. So women have more of an idea of what type of man, what type of relationship that they think they want. So when they begin dating, they're dating to have that type of a relationship.
That they think they want. That's what you said.
So, but what I'm saying is when we start dating, we're dating genuinely because we want what we want. Y'all are dating and don't have a clue. Y'all just want her. You don't know what type of relationship you want. You don't know what type of boundaries there should be. You don't know if you are going to be able to give the woman what she wants, help her figure out if it's really what she wants, show her something better or different. Y'all just jump in and be like, "Oh, I want to be with you, so I'm in this thing." And then when you realize and you beat that person all the way up until you can't stomach no more. And then you
because when we realize we made
change it.
When we realize we made a mistake,
but you don't back away. When you realize you made a mistake, you change, but you don't leave the relationship. And that is where men have. That is why women, and I'm not saying it's right because it's not right for women to just characterize men as saying that they ain't nothing. Every men don't do this. Men, no, that's not right because that's not true. But the reason women get to that place is because you can't say that women are giving off this energy all the time that's bringing in. I know for a fact I've dated, every person that I've dated has been a different type of person in and of themselves.
Because you're a different type of person. Because you give out.
But the thing is that why I only married one. I only got to the point where I was like, okay, yeah, this is right. But my point is that I was in a relationship. I've never been in a short term relationship. I've dated until I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna be it. Then you got to keep it moving. But when I was in a relationship, I was in a relationship, each one for 3 years plus. And then I met you, and then we got married. So I'm sorry, with the exception of a 9 month relationship. So, which was heading into a year. But by then, I had been in two, 3+ year relationships and was like, yeah, I'm not doing this bullcrap no more. So I had 9 months of that, and that got cut off, and then there was
but
you.
but once again, in that instance, it's the same. It's the same premise. It's just that men and women go about the same process differently. It's like it's like going on a road trip. Somebody wants to take the scenic route, and somebody wants to take the interstate.
No.
Listen,
It's
don't.
like going on a road trip and someone wants to go to Vegas and someone wants to go to New York. They're two totally different. Yeah, we're on a road trip, but we're going two different places on two opposite sides of the map.
Well, okay, so
Like, get out of my car and go catch another ride.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Pump your brakes. Whose fault is that?
The person who keeps acting like they're there for what they are there for, and they're really not.
How do you know you're not there for something until you realize this ain't what I thought it was?
That's what I just said. When you realize it, get out. But men don't do that. They stay. And they what?
This is a personal experience. This is you. When you when you realize this isn't what you want and you got out. And there are a lot of women, and see, this is where
I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about men.
Listen,
need to get out.
You weren't listening. You was ready to.
No, you said you. I'm a woman, and you said women, and those are women. I said men need to get out.
Are you listening? You was ready. You was ready to talk. Ready to reply.
Go ahead.
All right. Point being, the very way a man knows this isn't what I want. And he'll say, look, baby, hey, mom, this ain't working. There are a ton. Then you see it. You just saw it in front of your salon last week or the week before, that the man trying to move on and she tried to run him over in the car.
You ain't trying to move on.
She just crazy. There is some craziness that's attached to some of this.
That is apples and oranges. Come on back.
But I've seen the apples and orange. I've seen that happen.
Okay, I get that.
So, once again.
But again, just because you say this ain't working, sir, just because you say this ain't working, and she says, but I want you, that mean you keep going?
Because men always fall for that. And you don't say you have not seen men fall for the puppy dog eyes, the tears, I'll do better, all that old stuff, and he stays. Maybe foolish of you to stay, because ain't nothing about to change.
First of all, you were talking about a small percentage of men.
Okay.
Let's talk about the general people. Because you're talking about a small amount.
I can't be generalizing.
It's best to, because the majority of the people are going to fall in what's general, not over here in, that one, because it's very few men who fall for puppy dog eyes and all that other stuff, the tears and all this other stuff.
That's how they ended up there in the first place.
They might fall for something wet, but it ain't for the eyes. I promise you, it ain't wet eyes that they fall back in.
Either way,
I'm just saying.
It was something that keeps them from moving on. Once again, it comes back to maturity. Just like I don't like, and because this is why the happy wife, happy life thing comes up. Those type of scenarios are why that phrase has the crap label, the part of it that's crap, because men will do whatever to have peace. And even if peace means I will do whatever to keep her from complaining, even if I'm miserable in the process. And you know what that misery ends up turning into? That misery ends up turning into resentment, ends up turning into infidelity, abuse, and everything else. Why? Because nobody is emotionally mature enough to just say, this ain't it, this ain't working for me, move on. Even in most cases when women, and let me not say, but in a lot of cases, when women finally decide they want to move on, they already got their next the person who's gonna fill that empty space. Cause it takes a woman a lot longer to emotionally check out. Really? Really? Wow.
You just said a lot.
Wow.
First of all, men.
Wow.
Men, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Men do not.
Here comes the lack of accountability. Here comes
staying in a relationship or doing the happy wife, happy life thing for peace. For peace. Are you serious right
They
now?
do it.
Man, come on.
You don't see that. You don't see that.
I just finished saying.
You don't see men that are married that are miserable, and all they try to do is give her whatever she wants to shut her up.
Okay, so do this for me. While we're having this conversation, it's going to be very important for you to qualify what you're talking about. Because to say men, as I just finished saying, you are generalizing. And the general set of men do not do anything talking about happy wife, happy life for peace. Wrong.
So what's the point? So why do they do
it? There's a portion of men. Let's do that. Say that. There is a group of men. There's a percentage of men. There's a portion of men. Give me the qualifiers, because when you just say men, I'm going to take it as a general term.
I said there
and I'm going to pull my boy back out, and he going to call.
I said just what you said. See, now we're playing word games.
You said men.
I said there are men. I said there are men. That's not putting everybody.
Let's qualify.
So why I have to
give a percentage? I need you to qualify. So you don't got to give me a direct number. I said a portion. There's a group. Like, give me those words so that I know this is not the general term. Because let me say this. When you said men do the happy wife, happy life thing for peace, I thought about the great number of cheaters we have.
See, you going off somewhere else.
No, I'm not. How can you, when you sit here and say men, and that's why I said, let's not generalize it, because then
it wasn't general, because I said there are men. That's qualifying it right there.
Okay. When you said what you said, my mind went to the cheaters of America.
That's your mentality. That's where your mind went.
Because when you say men, there are men that do things for peace. And then I think about all the disruptive men that there are.
But we're not talking about those men.
Okay, so let's, like I said, we got to make sure we put some qualifiers on it, because you say you qualified it. I didn't hear it.
You know why you ain't here? Because you was ready to respond.
I was not. I was listening to you.
All right, I hear you.
I heard you. Everything you said still felt like,
whatever. Yeah.
So
Carry on.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Continue.
like
As you were.
you're. I feel like this. I feel like you're answering this out of you and your group of men. And I'm not answering this, and this is where we got to get an understanding of the conversation we're having for the two of us.
This is not just about my group of men.
But the things you've said so far have been in that group of men. There are men, but it's not the general. You are talking about you and others like you. When that is not,
I'm not about to. I'm not about to. Happy wife, happy wife, happy wife, happy
neither of
life.
us
You
believe
for
in
peace.
that, though.
Yeah. So,
but I'm saying you're talking about you and others like you, but you know people like that. You see that in your group of family and friends and whatever. So you're speaking to what you see.
I'm speaking to what I see.
That's what I'm saying. But what you see, we live in a world that the majority of these people don't live in. Like there are a lot of single people who don't live in this world. So what you see, they don't see. And the stuff that they say in the comments, that doesn't come from what we're talking about or what you're talking about. So what I need, like I said, just qualify it for me, because when I'm thinking about the fact that when we are saying happy wife, happy life, I'm talking about people who are possibly getting into marriages, people who are wanting to get married and still trying to figure out if it's something they really should do, trying to figure out how to navigate a marriage, maybe are just in their first couple of years of marriage and is like, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Like, is this really a thing? And you're talking about men who have been married 15 plus years already.
Okay, so once again, this whole conversation of happy wife, happy life,
It applies.
It applies to the
but
whole
I'm saying
gamut.
we have two different mindsets on where we're thinking about what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm talking about as a whole in general. I'm talking about period. You were thinking about new beginnings and infidelity, people, and all this stuff. I wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about the happy life, happy wife, fact of crap, period. And I said it's a little bit of both. There is some fact to it because if she's not happy, she's not going to do the things that are required to bring peace to everybody else. But at the same time, what good is it for me to lose myself or a man to lose themselves and who they are for the sake of happy life, happy wife? Because we see it. We see it. I mean, we see it on the national stage every time we see Will and Jada on TV. I'm going to do whatever it is to make sure Jada is happy and joyous and does everything he should do or she wants him to do, and he can't do nothing that don't involve her. He can't do nothing without her approval. He can't do nothing. He can't do nothing. But she's happy. She's not complaining or whining, and he's over there like, okay, whatever you say, I'm gonna check with y'all later. I gotta go home and make sure. Like, what kind of existence is that? Existence is that? Is that fair?
No.
And that's why.
Which is why we don't do that.
That's why when it comes to the happy wife, happy life thing, it should be happy spouse, happy house. Because if we are both not happy, if we're both not at peace, all it ends up is being a one-sided toxic relationship. It becomes it ain't even codependency. It's just dependency. I don't even know if it's a dependency at that point. It's become foolishness. Because, first of all, your happiness shouldn't determine how happy or sad I am.
Thanks.
So if I'm going out of
nobody can make you happy.
My whole existence is to make you happy. That's why I hear people say, as long as my wife is happy, I'm happy. So what defines you? What defines who you are and your happiness if all you care about is making sure she's happy, or vice versa. Same thing for women who go out of their way for
Because if I'm
men.
not happy, you're not supposed to be happy, Corey. Duh. I mean, why is that so hard for you to understand?
It's extremely hard for me to understand. It's extremely hard for me to fathom.
Anyway, I'm gonna say this.
The whole thing
Corey
is
was speaking,
disingenuous.
you know, I think toward a particular group of people. But
I'll be honest with y'all, I was speaking towards the group of people who, I'm not talking about people who are getting ready to get married, who, because these new marriages is different anyway, as it is, because what they doing right now, I don't quite always understand these new marriages. But I was speaking to people who are married, who have gone into.
I know. So what I'm saying is, he cut me off, y'all.
Policy.
So what I'm saying is, for the when we see people in like what he spoke to originally, social media and all these things, that's mine. So
She didn't bring me one.
we always see women kind of do the male bashing thing. We're starting to see men do the woman bashing thing. It's starting to be like tit for tat. It's starting to be even nationalities and ethnicities and all these things are starting to be brought into it. Men will bash another man when it comes to the woman he chose, and vice versa. Women will bash another woman when it comes to the man she chose. And it's starting to get like really, really crazy when it comes to the accountability portion of everything. But I feel like all of this stems from women not taking accountability. I feel like
Oh, we ain't had no audience.
y'all gonna see me. Y'all gonna be sharing this video so much because it's gonna turn into WWE. All right. So men, I know that women, they say men set the tone in the house, and you all really do. But when it comes to the relationship as a whole and how future relationships go, that's mostly on women. Because for the simple fact that we are wired differently. Men are more logical, women are more emotional. Therefore, if our emotions are messed up and we haven't checked those emotions, we haven't healed those emotions, we haven't, you know, gotten our way through those emotions, especially if we've been hurt or traumatized, we carry that stuff over from relationship to relationship. We have defensive mechanisms, we have walls built up, we have all kinds of things. And it literally goes from relationship to relationship to relationship until we are able to see that we are creating problems. Then every relationship to follow is going to be messed up. And I don't care how good the man is. You're going to keep on saying, men ain't nothing. No. What in you is so hurt and so broken that you didn't fix, that you thought maybe you did fix, but something happens in the next relationship and it triggers you? He may not have even done exactly what the last person did, but it almost looked like it, and now he ain't ish right along with the last person. That is trauma. That is unchecked pain that needs to be healed before you get into another relationship. But the problem is we don't wait long enough. And long enough is until you're healed. So if it takes you 2 months to heal, then okay, your next relationship is in 2 months. If it takes you 2 years to heal, then your relationship is in 2 years. But whatever it is, there needs to be healing first and then your next relationship. But we have screwed the formula up.
It's the inherent desire of every person to be loved and cared for. It's the thing that everybody is looking for. I don't want to say feel validated, but everybody wants to feel appreciated and loved.
Yeah,
And people chase that drug. Love is a hell of a drug.
it is.
And everybody chases that drug of love and that joy and that compassion and that peace, that thing, that feeling love gives you. And some people don't learn how to love themselves in and of themselves.
Right.
So they take all that trauma all along with them. Now, in saying that women don't take accountability, and I know there are going to be women that say men don't take accountability, but we're not talking about men today. We're talking about women.
That's the one thing that hopefully maybe we need to write it in the comment section or something. Today is today. We are talking about this thing right here, right now. It is always someone in the comment section who will take and just go somewhere else. Like, that is not the point right now. And that is why so many arguments start. That's why so much drama happens, because you can't deal with what's at hand right now. You know why? Because you're avoiding
Abuse.
accountability.
And Kynisha had to sit me, and I will say this: Kynisha and our neighbor, they had to sit me down and make me understand something that I was talking about um in a Instagram comment, in an Instagram thread, about the woman was talking about sexual assault and those type of things, which wasn't really what the initial conversation was about. But she did take it there, and she took that to somewhere else, and it was like, but ma'am, that's not what we like, ma'am, that's not what we talking about. And it is true that every woman has been sexually assaulted at some point in their life. No matter how innocent it may have been in the mind of the man or the woman who did it, every girl has been groped in the hallway at school. And I will say this: men don't speak about it because it feels as if it's making you soft, but women are just as there are some women who are just as sexually aggressive and do not care about boundaries as men. There have been there have been plenty of instances where I've been felt up, touched on, violated in so many ways in that I didn't ask for. But it's viewed, even for men and women, it's viewed as when you, because things are so sexualized, it's viewed as being okay.
Yeah.
And
If they didn't ask for your hands, you shouldn't be giving them to them. That's just bottom
so
line. That's what it is. You know.
but in that instance, I had to learn and be educated on things about, because I never really, like, y'all know we grew up. If you were over a certain age, we basically grew up in the if you want to, we grew up in the Donald Trump grab her by the era of life. That's a your boys or your friends would dare you to go grab a grab a girl's butt on the dance floor, on the playground, or whatever. That's what we grew up in, and that was part of the conversation where I was saying, in order for us to get on and move on for that, both sides have to take accountability. And instead of the woman trying to take accountability and making it seem as if I was um what's the word I'm looking for? Not being compassionate about sexual assault, which I was not. I was saying, in order for us to grow past these things, both sides have to take some accountability. Men are wrong. Men are wrong for that. But at the same time, women can't put every man in that box. And that's what she was doing. She was putting every man in that box because of her experience. And I understand you only know what you only know what you've experienced. If you never experienced something, if you've never been shown something different, you can only speak to your experiences. But at the same time, if we want to grow, we both sides have to learn to take accountability. Not saying men don't take accountability, but once again, we're focusing on women today. Women will of like, what is it so hard for some women just to apologize? Like, what the hell is so hard about apologizing? Saying you were wrong, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have, I could have done this better, even with other women, not just with men. Just is it something in women that it's a I have to be right gene or something? Mm-hmm. Like, is this a trigger in y'all brain that I am never wrong?
When it comes to y'all, yeah.
But why? I don't know. So is that something that emotional has to be healed or prayed over? Well, we need to anoint them with oil. Like what the hell?
I think that's childhood trauma. That's what I think.
You think it's childhood trauma? Mm-hmm. What happens to you as a child that made you believe you were never wrong?
How many times did you hear your mother apologize to you? The adult woman in your house that you saw as the representative of what womanhood is, that was your first introduction to womanhood.
I'm still waiting on an apology from my mama for something. It's been 30 years.
Okay, well, how many times as children did your mama apologize to you?
So y'all been trained not to say I'm sorry. Not to say I was wrong.
How many times did you hear your mother apologize to your dad?
I ain't never.
Everybody listening, everybody in the comment section, I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about the arguments you may have witnessed as a child, about disagreements that you may have overheard when you were in your room and they were over there fussing and they didn't know you heard, about you as a child yourself. How many times did you hear, for real, your mother or the woman figure in the house that was raising you and training you? Because this is where we all first learn our love and compassion and how to love and all from the nurturer in the house, which is the woman. So, or the mother figure. When you were growing up, how many times did you hear her apologize, genuinely say, I'm sorry I did so and so and it made you feel like so and so? How many times?
And that's why, y'all, that's why, no joke, a woman will not apologize. A black woman will cook you dinner and ask you if you hungry. And that's her way of saying, I was wrong, I'm sorry. Or you'll walk in a room and she butt naked and you have to figure out if you still mad. Y'all need therapy.
Why we need therapy?
Because that is a character flaw.
Okay, so what about the men who don't require the apology?
That's not true.
It's true. Men y'all have gotten so used to women not apologizing. A lot of y'all just say, a lot of older men teach y'all, just be okay with it. Just say okay. Just say okay. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but we're not talking about the men right now.
But I'm not saying this about men. I'm saying the reason why women are still behaving this way is because
I agree.
Men in our lives
agree.
Don't require us to fix it.
You're right. And that's why I say I look at you like, what you waiting on? The sorry. Because you will go. You will go home. You will be like, you will continue. You will explain. You will explain to me every reason, every avenue, every process of why you did what you did. Yes, I didn't mean to make you feel this way, but the reason I said did flip.
But that's not in lieu of an apology. You always get an apology. But I'm just a detailed speaker and I explain, because what I've said to you, you say you don't need the details.
Yeah,
I need the details. Mm-hmm. And that's why I speak in detail, period, because that's just my mind. Mm-hmm. Because it's important to me to know why you did what you did. Because if you had bad intentions, that's going to explain to me how I move forward. So that's why I explain when I've done something.
Okay, I get
I
that.
explain,
and I be like, babe, I don't need the explanation.
but
I
for
need the
me,
apology.
I need you to understand that it didn't come from a place of ill will. I didn't realize, or I wasn't trying to, or whatever. But I apologize. I'm sorry that you felt
Yeah,
that way, or you did.
but
You get your apology.
yeah,
Now.
but
Don't
I
sit
know
here
it's
and act
not.
like you don't get it.
Yeah, I get it eventually. I'm just saying, I don't need all that, and I know it is because you have to give me your dissertation of why.
How long does it take for you to get an apology?
I don't know. It depends on the situation, and if you are mad too.
On average, how long does it take to get an apology from me and you?
You mean like minutes or days or like
How long?
Depends on what it is in the situation or how long it takes me. I'll say this: some situations is instant. You realize instantly you've done something wrong, and you'll come back and apologize. Even when you realize, even without me saying, you'll realize you're wrong. You'll come back. Oh, I was wrong. I shouldn't have did. I shouldn't have said. Now, if I don't come directly to you and let you know, it may take a while, and because you'll see that I'm not moving the same way, and then you'll be like, "Well, what's wrong?" And I'll say this, that, and the third, and then you'll be like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I understand." But you're gonna tell me why you did or thought the way you did before, yeah?
I want you to know.
Because you're gonna, yeah,
But basically, what you just said is that I apologize when I know I'm wrong.
yeah.
Once I know that I.
But this is not just about you. This is not about you.
I know, but I am sitting here because we are sitting in front of the world right now, and whomever all may see this, and I'm an example to somebody that I'm still me. For apology, I can apologize and move the heck on. It doesn't hurt. It does. I didn't lose no organs. I didn't. It like nothing fell out. My tongue didn't fall out and hit the floor. My teeth are still in my mouth. Because if I'm wrong and I love you, right? That's the precipice of this relationship is love first, right? We love each other. So if I hurt you as your wife and I hurt you and I realize I hurt you, why not apologize?
I don't know.
This is for everybody.
Yeah, you should apologize.
You should. And that is when I say the lack of accountability comes in, and the men in our lives need to require, no, we ain't gonna flip the script. You're not gonna sit here and flip it on me. You did this, and you owe me an apology.
Yeah.
Like that's what has to happen.
And this is what I will say. This is what I will say. A lot of times, women, you've done it to me before, women in the past, whatever. Women will take something you did, like you'll react in a certain way to something, like I react in a certain way to something you did. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't like my reaction to what you did. Even though what you did was wrong, hurtful, or whatever, and I reacted to that. And then you react to my reaction. And when you get mad and I tell you the reason why I acted the way I acted, a woman will turn around and then forget or pretend that they didn't do the thing that caused me to react that way. And all they want is an apology for my reaction to what you did. Like, that is crazy.
So this is how you get your apology, fellas. Don't react to what she did. Call it out right then and there. What you just said happens. The problem is if I heard, how many times do women react to what you did versus telling you what you just did?
How many times?
Is it more or less that we gonna flip out and let you know that you just did something that hurt me, bothered me, whatever? Or are we gonna react to it first?
I'm gonna react to it first.
Women.
Women.
women are going to tell you. You're going to hear about that as soon as you do it. If you look at me sideways, you're going to hear about it. If you
Okay,
say something crazy, you're going to hear about it.
I
If you
get.
do something to me, you're going to hear about it before my reaction
Okay,
comes.
okay, gotcha.
I will react
I
when you
was,
don't fix what
I
I feel
was,
like needs to
I
be
was
fixed.
still in our scenario where I'm saying I'm reacting to something you did, but you're saying if the man initially does something, the woman is gonna immediately tell him,
We're going to let you know.
gonna let you know.
And that's where y'all.
But that's the difference
That is
in
the
men and
difference in
women.
men and women. But sometimes y'all need to take a page out of our book. If you want to fix, you ask what's the problem. I'm trying to give you the solution. If you want to fix, men, fellas, others, if you want to fix not being apologized to when she has hurt you, then you need to call it when you see it. Not 3 months later, when she's ribbing you about something you did, and then you go back and recall what she did 3 months ago. Because at that point,
but you know where that also stems from. We're gonna go back to y'all and y'all childhood trauma, because men have been so accustomed to the minute that they tell women how they feel, it is never the reaction that is expected. If I tell you you did me something, I hurt you, you hurt me, whatever. Most women, instead of hearing that pain or hearing what they did, they're coming up with an excuse. They're coming up with an excuse, or they're trying to belittle the man for even feeling some type of a way or having those feelings. That happens.
well,
Or a woman will
stand on
find
it.
a way to point the finger and blame the man for the way that she made him feel.
Fellas, I will say this to you. There's a thing
Women are master manipulators, are emotional manipulators. I just realized that, but carry on.
Interrupt me one more time, sir.
I was,
Smack down.
See?
Hear me?
See? WWE.
Y'all heard me warn this man once already. So, fellas, this is still talking about women being accountable. But in order for that to happen, there are steps you must take. Because I'm grown now. And most people in a relationship feel that way. I am grown. So, in order for you to get the reaction that you deserve, which is an apology or just a sincere ear listening, because there will be times where she may not feel she's wrong. You may get, I'm sorry I hurt you, but, and that's kind of one of those agree to disagree things. You got to hear one another out. You got to hear one another's feelings. You got to hear whatever it is. But this is the thing for me. And this is when happy wife, happy life makes things bad. If you have been hurt or wronged in some kind of way by your partner, and you say how you feel, and then you let them have that moment that he was just talking about, that tantrum, that flip the script, that whole thing, and then you bow and you buckle and you just say, all right, whatever. You're doing yourself a disservice, because you are just as valuable in that relationship as she is. Therefore, the same way she can shut it down, you better learn how to do that too. The same way she can up and walk away and stop talking, you better learn how to do that too. The same way she can go out for the night and say, look, I ain't dealing with this. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to my mama's house. I'm going to my girl's house. I'm going to do whatever. You would want to learn how to do that too.
But then they're going to call you sassy.
I didn't say act sassy. I said do that too. In whatever manner you need to do that. If it's If you don't know how to apologize to me when you're clearly wrong, or I am telling you you hurt me in this way, and you don't feel like I'm worth an apology, I'm gonna let you have that, and I'm going to do whatever. And don't break, don't bow down, don't like. And if you are with someone who cannot apologize to you when you have sincerely said that hurt me, that bothered me, then you may be in the relationship with the wrong person, because men and women need to care about how their partner feels. You should not be okay with hurting your partner. You should not be okay with your partner saying to you, that hurt. Even if you feel like it wasn't that deep. If they are hurt and you did the hurting, your thing is to say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to hurt you that way. I didn't think it was that serious.
Come on, ladies. Let's practice. Let's practice in the mirror. I'm sorry.
You gotta do like Brown. I'm sorry.
Let's practice in the mirror, ladies.
I'm just saying.
Put it in the chat. Say it in the chat, ladies. I'm sorry. Let's just practice a little bit. Learn like y'all. I know we are talking about women tonight.
Men are henpecked, and y'all people.
Men, y'all have got to start putting your foot down.
Y'all want to make sure all the sugar stay in place. The sugar stay sweet, and sometimes you just need to let whatever, man. It is what it is.
And bro, y'all stand 10 toes down. Y'all stand 10 toes down on the wrong things with the wrong people. Because in your house is where you should have peace, joy. You should not go home and be uncomfortable, be nervous, stressed, any of that stuff when you come to your house.
Right.
And that lack of accountability, that lack of not saying I was wrong, that not putting your foot down and making it known when, hey, you're not going to treat me this way.
Right.
You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to handle me this way. And if that person can't respect it, then we need to start questioning how much they really care.
Women understand one thing. We have got to let go of this, I'm the prize. I'm the best thing you ever found. It's the best thing you're going to ever have. We got to let that mentality go.
Marcus, they won't even say it in the chat. We ain't getting not one I'm sorry in the chat. No, not one lady.
Are there women in the chat?
Gotta be. Marcus ain't the only. They got some women in there. I seen them. It was funny when you was making all your stuff you was talking. It was all fun and games. Ha ha he he. They was putting up smiling faces then. Okay. But now they mute and silent.
So what I'm saying is this. We have got to I'm his prize and he's mine. Okay? It is a mutual thing. We both want and need one another. There is not a relationship on this earth.
You ain't have to do nothing to say you sorry. We just practicing.
There's not a relationship on this earth that's worth having where both people don't add to the other person's life. So yeah, you are a prize, but you're not the only prize. This ain't no freaking Cracker Jack box.
Hey.
This ain't no cereal box where there's only one toy in the box. This the toy store. We bring all kind of prizes to the table.
The toy store?
It's the toy store. Shoot.
That made me hot. I'm sorry. Never mind. You know my brain goes the other way.
Gift shop.
You know my brain goes
this
the other way.
This is a gift shop.
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I'm bad.
So what I'm saying is women have a mentality. And I honestly
but it's men's fault too. This is men's fault. That is men's fault, because we know plenty of men who put their wives on a pedestal that they won't allow them to do, say, or act a certain way, not even allow them to be themselves. But then they'll run off to the side and mess with Susie down the street, who
is none of that.
It's none of that. So
I ain't gonna say that. That's a whole different ballgame.
Right?
That's a different.
But men do that. Put their women in a place of godliness that they feel as if they're not equal to, and they shouldn't do or say or be a certain way. But then deep inside, you want a woman who does.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I think that came again. That's a childhood trauma. Because being raised, women are supposed to be a certain prim and proper.
Yeah.
Wives are supposed to be a certain type of representative of certain type of etiquette to be worthy, a wife. And that's some BS. Because if crazy is what you want, then that is what it is. Get your crazy. If that's what turns you on, and that's what makes sure that there are men who love crazy. It just is what it is. So I'm not gonna go out here and wife meek and mild, but really I'm enjoying watching somebody else with their crazy.
But that's the thing.
It's time to break the mold.
But that's the thing, because they are led to believe that there's only one way to be wife material,
right?
One way to be in a marriage. So if that's not what it, if that's
this was always the worst slogan or phrase to me. Can't turn a hoe into a housewife. How many hoes y'all remember there's housewives now? Not housewives, but wives.
It's a bunch. More of them than some of you good girls.
I'm just saying.
I ain't judging nobody, because whoever makes you happy.
But that's the point. Like, we have these things that get embedded and planted in our heads that it's supposed to be a certain type of way. Wives shouldn't dress like this. Wives and mothers shouldn't dress like this. They shouldn't talk like this. They shouldn't look like this. They shouldn't go these places. They shouldn't do this and that. But
that's a whole nother conversation.
A wife is a person that got married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? So what makes me less of a wife because I decided to wear my thighs out versus you who got straight legs on?
Because there are certain things, there's certain doctrine that states and says certain things. I'm going to
say this. It's been something you said a long time ago that I loved. Tradition is dead people telling you how to live.
Yeah, that's all it is.
All of this stuff that is embedded in our heads about what things are supposed to be was taught and handed down. Mm-hmm. Generation to generation to generation. And do you know that is some foolishness for us in the good Lord's year of 2023?
It's a whole bunch of things that it rolls back into accountability. People just accepted things for what they were told and never sat back and applied
and realized that it doesn't work anymore.
And applied any common sense to it.
It doesn't work anymore. Like, we are in 2023 going into 2024. What worked in 1962 is not going to work here in 2023. Life is different. The things around us is different. What's available to us is different. What wasn't available to them is now available to us. What was available to them, sometimes some of that stuff is not available to us anymore. It was cool for Papa to take care of all of the whole household when bread was 50 cents. Like,
bread is 7 times that now.
We have to get to a place where we understand, yes, they love us, so they're trying to teach us things and but we have to also have an understanding that, is that realistic in my life right now, today? And so once we get past those things and can say, my life, right, I swear, oh God, I'm so happy I was a rebel. Because if I was not, I would be a miserable person today. If I had to marry who my mama and aunts thought I was supposed to marry, I might be in somebody's prison. I would, and if not in prison, definitely not happy. Because it took me, prayer. I ain't gonna even tell you no lies.
Go ahead, finish your story. Because you gonna say I'm cutting you off. I'm not cutting you off.
It took prayer.
I'm just listening. I'm confused.
Like, for real, revelation, epiphany, spiritual eye and awakening to say, this is some BS. You living your life, you did your thing, you got who you wanted to get, you married who you wanted to marry, and if that's what you like and if that's what you accept, that is you and your business. I'm not gonna live my life like that. So we
So
have
you
to
took
get.
accountability for your life.
I had to take accountability for my life. At the end of the day, I'm about to hurt somebody's feelings. Baby mamas. I was once that. I was a baby mama. I had two children, two different dads before I met him. I don't have 4 and 5 children before I met my husband. You know why? Because I stood up and I said, this is not happening again. I will not live and keep allowing myself to go this way or that way. I'm not going to do it. I took accountability for my life because I knew I could not do this again. I'm not doing this again.
But
I
this
can't.
is
I don't want to. I don't want this to be my life. I'm not about to. I'm not, even if they would have had the same dad, it would not have mattered. I wasn't married to him. He wasn't in the house with me. He wasn't where I needed him to be when I needed help. I had to do all that crap by myself until my children were ushered off and to go for the weekend or whatever the case may be. That is a journey that women should not want to continuously take, but we keep putting ourselves in the
and this
situation.
is where I'm coming back to women not taking it. This spins you back around into not taking accountability. Women won't take accountability, but we'll tell all 5 of their baby daddies they ain't shit. At what point?
And somebody's gonna hear this right now and say, "Well, what about him?"
You are. I tell women this all the time. You are in complete control of every part of you. That man is only going to do what you allow him to do. And until you take control, take accountability, and put your foot down, even if putting your foot down means he's going in the opposite direction away from you, so be it. You are in control. The reason you have 5 baby daddies is because you had unprotected sex by choice with 5 people. We're not, somebody's gonna take this and gonna run off somewhere. We're not talking about people that have been molested, raped, whatever the case may be. Those things are not we're talking about. I am talking about grown adult women choosing to sleep with multiple men, get pregnant, unprotected sex, condom break. Yeah, we all know things happen. You had the control to stop this. You had the opportunity to stop at baby 1, baby 2, whichever one it was. You had a responsibility to yourself and those children to say no, to stop it. That is the point when I'm talking about taking accountability. Now, the fella sleeping around with 5 and had 5 different baby mamas, that's on them. But each one of those extra baby mamas had a choice because you knew, in most cases, not in all cases, you knew he had other kids. How do you become the 5th baby mama? What made you think, what did he do or made you think that you didn't step back and say, well, dang, I wonder if he told the first 4 women that I was the one. I'm going to change for you. But you see, he's still not doing nothing, even if he is taking care of those other 4 kids. What?
He's taking care of the kids, but he's not with any of the women. And that ought to speak in itself. You taking care of these kids, and that's great. But why couldn't it work out with one of those women? Like, what happened? Why didn't it work out? You got 4 kids, but none of the women were good enough. Like, that should pop in your head.
And I hate. I'm sorry, baby, because
this you're doing it.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but this is touchy for me.
Go ahead.
And I see Sabrina in the chat saying,
what did she say?
She says, you got 3 ain't shit baby daddies and 3 ain't shit. You pick 3 times in a row. Take accountability for your shitty choices.
That's facts.
That's all out. And I'm not judging nobody. I'm not picking on nobody. No. I'm not dragging nobody. This is the problem. When you People don't want to accept correction. People don't want you to tell them
they're wrong.
That they're wrong. They want a sugar coated, everything's gonna be all right, rainbows and unicorns. It wasn't your fault, baby. Those men took advantage of you in your weak state, got you pregnant, and moved on to the next woman. No, you are in complete control of your body and your vagina. Mm-hmm. So anybody who gets it, if they didn't take it, and if they did, they need to be in jail. You should have turned them in. But any other thing outside of molestation or rape, you were in control of that situation. You voluntarily gave up that vagina to a man who you knew had 3 kids with 3 baby mamas, wasn't with neither one of them, and wasn't dealing with them. But every one of them something was wrong with that woman. No, partner, it's you. I'm gonna get on my men for a second. It's you. Those are your choices. Right. You are just as you are accountable for you, but she's accountable for her. So, ladies, at the end of the day, no matter how much you want to blame that man, you had a choice to make. The first one, we understand. We all make mistakes. He didn't have a child. You didn't have a child. Y'all slept together. Y'all got pregnant. Things happen. It don't work out.
Things happen only stands for a certain amount of time.
It only that
on the third one, things ain't happening.
Things is happening has an expiration date on it.
Right.
And at some point, you have to be accountable for you.
Facts. And that's all this is about. Being accountable. Like I said earlier tonight, women, we set the tone for every relation. Men set the tone for the atmosphere of the home, but we set the tone for the relationship itself moving forward. Every relationship you're in, most times, piggyback off of your emotional health. And if you have not been able to take accountability for where you are in life, heal the stuff that needs to be healed, that next relationship is going to have problems and issues. And then we're going to end up with men ain't shit. No, wait, back it up. Because the last man, the first relationship, we're going to do it like this. The first relationship you had, he was a cheater. He told you he was coming. He didn't show up for 3 hours later. Then you say, where you been? Oh, I was with so-and-so, whatever. And then months later, you figure out, wait a minute. When you told me you was over at so-and-so house, you wasn't at so-and-so house. You was over at this chick house. She just told me. She sent me a message. She called me, whatever. All right, you know what? I'm done with you. Out of there. Next relation come up. You never got that straight. You never healed that part of you. You never said that hurt me in a way that I don't even understand it, but I need to fix it. But you jumped into the next relationship a couple of months later. Somebody else came along that looked good to you. You thought, oh, he sounds good. He looks good. He smells good. He's talking all the right stuff. And then he called you and say, hey, I'm on my way to your house. And you said, okay. And then an hour goes by and he's not there. And then an hour and a half goes and he pulls up. Where you been? What? You said you was going to be here over an hour ago. You said I got stuck in traffic. You weren't stuck in no traffic. You was about out there. Bang. A problem.
Hey, but once again.
And then you have the men that keep saying, keep on, keep telling me I was out here doing so and so. I'm gonna fix it for you. And then they go do that, and you like, see, I knew you was cheating. I told you.
But
and then I get to the next relationship.
On both sides, there is some emotional intelligence that needs to be
maturity
made. Like emotional intelligence, first thing is being self-aware. Self-awareness. Then there's social awareness. Then there's relationship management and self-management. Those are the four things that make up emotional intelligence. Okay. Being self-aware, Number one,
Mm-hmm.
being self-aware, meaning that I'm aware of myself,
What
who
makes me
I
tick.
am, my emotions, what makes me tick.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to manage those things. Next thing is understanding other people. That's your social awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Your social awareness is I understand your emotions, and I can understand your emotions, how to deal with your emotions, this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get those two things, then I can get into relationship management. I know how to manage our relationship. All right. I can manage the relationship when you're having your emotions, when I'm having my emotions. I know how to take those two things
Right.
and balance them out.
Right.
Relationship management. Then the last and final spot is self management. Being able to manage myself regardless of those other three things, regardless of the relationships, regardless of the social awareness portion of, and involving my own personal awareness of who I am. I know how to step away from certain situations. I know how to manage myself, and I'm not going to let you and your emotions
Right.
affect me and cause me to do something out of my character.
Right.
That's self management.
Right.
People don't get people can't even get to social
Self-awareness first.
to self-awareness to even be able to understand somebody else because you're not healing. Like I heard something the other day, and y'all, this is still all around accountability because you have to be those four things in order to be mature enough to be accountable for your own actions. Someone said that a healed person can't be in a toxic relationship.
X.
And my reply to them is if you are healed, you won't be in a toxic relationship because your healing is not going to allow you to be a part of something toxic. So I said, and my comment was, I can't, if I'm healed, I can't be in a toxic relationship. Matter of fact, you can't be toxic with me because I'm in a place where I'm not accepting it and I'm moving on and I'm managing myself. Now, can someone who has been healed get with someone who's toxic and help heal them? Yes. But you have to be in a true place of healing to help heal someone else. There are certain people who are just healing spirits.
Yeah.
That's who they are. My presence, my words, my whatever, I make you feel better. I calm you. I make you feel at peace. That's who I am. That's what the healing spirit is. That's what I do. I have friends who tell me that all the time. Hey, I can talk to you and wherever I'm at, I can be on 110. You just sit there and listen and then you give me just the back of a I just feel better being around you when I've been turned up. I understand that at one point I didn't understand that about myself. But I'm not going to let your toxicity with my peace because I'm healed from certain things. I'm over certain things.
Right.
So I don't have people with ladies, because we're talking about ladies today. We're on the ladies. Find you some healing before you get into your next relationship.
Please.
Stop. I don't want to say this because y'all know I'm a big believer in everyone has is we are designed to be connected to each other. Doesn't necessarily mean a intimate relationship as far as intimacy or sexual. It can be a friendship relationship, but we're all designed to be connected to each other. I feel that way. We all want to be connected to someone or something. So I don't want to say, I do want to tell you to learn to be at peace with yourself, to learn to heal yourself before you get into your next relationship.
Right.
I know there's times when you feel lonely and you feel like you just need somebody in your space, but don't let that cause you to get into a toxic relationship or a relationship that you don't really want because you're trying to feed a need that you can feed yourself. Because I don't want you to feel. I was about to say because you don't need a man to validate yourself, which you don't. Just like I don't need a woman to validate who I am, but I am a person who values relationships, and part of who I am as a person, part of my peace and my joy comes from the relationship that I have with the people around me. So I won't say that, you know, because I can understand why you want to be in a relationship or why you want to be connected to somebody. But in order to be the best version of you for someone else, the only way you're going to have a successful relationship is if you're in that relationship as the best version of you or the closest to the best version of you. Because sometimes it takes someone else to come into our life to complete that missing piece. It is by design. It is by design that someone is there to complete the missing piece of you. It may not always be a romantic relationship or connection. So don't think that your soulmate is the person you're supposed to marry. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily, and I think a lot of people say, I'm looking for my soulmate, and your soulmate may be your best friend. And y'all aren't meant to be married or to be together, but they're that person that's in your life. Y'all have like a like connection, and it makes life easier for you. That's why they're there. That other person may be the greatest, that is supposed to be your romantic connection. They're supposed to be the spend the life, the intimacy, the love, the tenderness, all that. That's their role. And when you're not that person's soulmate, but you are their romantic forever person, you have to learn to understand that there are other people in that person's life that makes them whole. You complete them, but there are other people in their life that makes them whole. And if you don't understand that, you're going to forever be in a state of contention in a relationship. Right. That would be awesome. Right. You have to learn to be emotionally intelligent, mentally mature, and to accept accountability for who you are and what you need. Put your foot down.
I'm going to say this from experience, from my personal experience with my husband, what he just said. I know I'm a woman who has male friends. He is a man who has female friends. We work like that. Um, I have a special brand of whatever built into me. Um, I have a special brand of, like he said, I'm not it makes him look sideways if he thinks I'm jealous of something or about something or whatever, because it's not seen often. So when it comes to other women being in his life, him having friends, there's never been an issue for me because I'm not jealous hearted like that. Now, don't cross no boundaries. Don't look like you crossing no boundaries. Don't even make it smell like you crossing boundaries, and you're going to see something different. But as far as just a friendship, because I'm a firm believer, whoever I'm friends with, got to be friends with him too. If you ain't checking for him, you ain't checking for me. I know that, you ain't here for the right reason. Because any friend I have shouldn't have an issue with talking to him, saying, "What's up, Cord?" I have friends that he called on their birthday and then they call me back and be, "You ain't nothing, boy. I didn't heard from Cord. I ain't even heard from you." Things like that. So we go out as couples, it's healthy platonic friendships. If it looks like you are crossing the line and your friendship is there to see if I can get a little bit further, you got to go. And that's for both of us. You got to go. So I'm going to say this. I know for a fact that this is my person. This is my life person. But I know he has two other women in his life that have to be there. Now, that might sound weird to some people, but I know for a fact that he has two other friends. One friend, they talk about certain things, and that settles a particular side of him. And then he has a friend where the compassion of him it's settled with her. The healer of him, he operates in his healing with that friend.
Yeah,
because she goes through things. And
this one here is so independent.
WWE.
Oh.
Then he has another friend that is his rowdy. They just together is not good. But they have that it's that. Because he's not going to be able to operate in those two things very much with me, but they are very much who he is. So he's not able to operate in all of himself with just me, but he gets that with the other two friends. And I know that he does. I told him that I get it. She's there. I see you operating like this with her. I see you operating like this with her. And it's just you're comfortable in those spaces. But I know that I'm not gonna, because I don't need that. I don't need certain things that he's just naturally that himself. And when we get to a place where we understand that our man is a whole human being and a whole individual, and we are not going to be able to be 100% of what they need. Not to say that he'll get it from another woman, just the outside source, man, female, whatever the friendship is, you're not going to be able to give him 100% of that. That would make you perfect, and you're not. So to think that you are going to be able to give him 100% of what he needs is ill advised, is not a good thought. You're going to fool around and piss yourself off, because you're not going to be able to give him everything.
And that goes both ways, fellas.
It goes both ways.
I know it'd be hard to figure it out, but I know she has male friends that she has to sit and they can talk about stuff that I don't want to talk about. They can sit and talk about stuff that I do not want to talk about. They're going to hang out and do things that I don't want to do. And I am cool with that.
I have male friends who they gonna sit and they gonna give me their feelings. They gonna tell me about the problems in their life. They gonna tell me about what that woman did and all these different things. And that is gonna fulfill. He tells me I'm a mother hen. I'm a fixer. But this man is not that type of emotional person. I'm not gonna get that from him. I'm not. So the fixer in me is not gonna be able. The mother in me, I don't have no mothering to do right here.
Because I'm too busy trying to heal somebody else.
So and we're saying that just to give example of what it kind of looks like. But when people be like, "Ooh, y'all relationship," ooh, but back it up and wait a minute. Can you do this? Because I am fully aware that I cannot be his 100%. And I am able to allow him to get his 100%, to fill in the gaps of what I am not with his friends. And they are females. And I'm happy and I'm cool.
And it's crazy because they're my female friends that are like my bros. Like, it's the craziest
They
thing.
are like the bros, but at the end of the day, I know without a shadow of a doubt, mess with me and see what happens. It ain't just him coming for you. Them two women that I'm talking about, they will get on him behind me. And that's the way that is supposed to work. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's the way that's supposed to work. If he was to call my boys and be like, "Man, this woman," I will get a phone call. "What you doing, my boy, over there?" That is the way that goes. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be that type. Wholeness does not come from one person. It can't. Like I said, that would make you perfect. You will never get 100% of everything you need out of one person. It will come from an outside source of some sort. Even if that means you need to go and be doing volunteer work with the Young Boys and Girls Club, it's going to be something.
I had to raise my hand, so I won't interrupt, because y'all know I'll cut off, because if not, I'll lose my thought. Now, I will say this. Don't let that be a reason for you to take advantage of your significant other. that you know or that they know that you need other things in,
Gotta trust your partner.
in regards to your wholeness. Don't use that. And see, this is what people think. This is where people think certain things about us because we can operate in that vein. They feel a certain type of way, or they think because a certain type of way because they say it could never be me. Well, that's why it isn't you.
Right.
But
that's why I'm happier than you.
and that and in that frame of mind as the spouse, I'm not going to take advantage of the fact that she allows me to move the way I move. She's not going to take advantage of the fact that I allow her to move the way she moves. We will sit, I'm letting y'all know, friends, unless it's something that y'all told to us in confidence not to say to the other, we talk about y'all. It's our entertainment. Girl, let me tell you what. But if it's something that's in pure confidence that me and one of my friends, she say, look, don't, I know how close you and your wife are. I know y'all share things, but this is something between me and you. That's where it stays. Right. And that's about loyalty to your friendship. Mm-hmm. And your spouse should be able to respect that because you're going to respect that on their end. She has friends that tell her, "Look, this dude don't tell Corey because he's gonna be looking at me like
look at me and be like
he gonna be looking at me like
tell me so," and I'm like, hey,
and you
my
know,
business to tell.
So that's how that should move. That's how that should operate. You have to be like y'all. We tell people being marriage gets easier when you create safe spaces and means of understanding and communication.
And hold up, because I don't want us to get too far off that we don't went straight to marriage. Yeah. But I'll say this. Women need to get to the point where they're able to say, I know that I'm not 100% everything. We need to get out of the mindset that he has to do everything. I'm the everything. You are not the everything. You cannot be the everything. And you need to be okay with that and happy with that and good with supporting whatever it is that makes the complete circle, with understanding that you are the center of that circle. Without you there, none of it works. And when you get comfortable in that, when you get that, there's a pride in knowing none of it works without you. That's where your wholeness is. That's where you shine. Like if you walk away, it all crumbles. Because you're the 80-20 thing, you're the 80. So he gets to 85. Stop crying about the 10 he get there and the 10 he get there, or the 5 he get there and the 2 he get there and the 3 he get there. Like, you all will die on a hill called nothing.
Because the sun has never got mad at the earth because other planets rotate around.
No. You will, when I say you will plant a flag on the hill and just die right there, because he went over there and found 5% that made him smile, and it had nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with what you weren't doing.
And I think you don't agree, or you might not agree with the 5% he found over there that made him happy. The man has to be happy. Like, do you not want to see him happy?
I think one part of the problem is that they think because they like you're not perfect. So you're not inadequate because you can't, like, my wife is independent. She is not a damsel in distress. I have a, what you call it? The savior, what you call it? When the damsel's being distressed, who the man who comes?
You're the savior, yeah.
Yeah, I have a savior complex. She's not a damsel in distress. So if I can't do,
okay, I'm sorry.
If I can't do certain things, I feel inadequate. I have to make her, y'all.
He feels not needed.
I feel not needed. I have to make her sometimes. Hey, stop it, put it down, let me do it. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I have to do that to feel whole. And certain women don't understand it.
I'm about to say, because I will tell you this, and I know our time has lapsed and everything, but I want to say women need to get an understanding that, you know, I don't know what made women think men are robots and that they walk around operating like the Tin Man and they pull their heart out, they check it, and then they put it back in. Like, men have feelings, they have emotions, all of these things. And they may not show them as readily as we do. You know what I'm saying? They may not be 100% connected to what they're feeling, and they don't know quite how to explain it or how to express it or whatever the case may be. But we can be so strong at the mouth sometimes, and we can pierce a man's ego and heart and all of these things because we think, for whatever reason, they don't have feelings, or they should just be able, they're the stronger of the two and they should be able to take it. That goes from putting your hands on a man, that goes to putting your mouth on a man in a hard way, calling them out of their names, and all these things that you think you should be able to do, and he's supposed to just deal with it. That is some BS, and it needs to end, because these are human beings. And when I get into a comment section, when I see things such as like the Chris Brown situation and Rihanna, or I forget, it's been some other instances, but that's the one that I like because he didn't beat on her. They had a fight, and there's a difference. So I always say, when we're talking about these types of things, I have taught my daughters, you keep your hands to yourself. Point blank, period. There is no such thing as he's supposed to be the stronger one. And I will say 100% of the time, I have sons, and I didn't raise and nurture my sons to be abused by not one of your daughters. Your daughter, will see me, okay? If they hit, hurt, harm my sons, period. No, we're not. Because what I am saying is, women, you need to get control of this abstract thought that men don't have feelings and that you should be able to treat and handle them any old kind of way and say whatever. And they're not supposed to have a feeling about it. You're supposed to just be able to call them bitches, and you're supposed to just be able to call them peas, and you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to just be able to tell them they ain't nothing and all these different things. And then they supposed to be able to go somewhere, lick their wounds off privately, come back, and then when you feel better about everything you just did, then you can have your way again. That is some BS, and we need to kill that. It is like, it needs to stop. It needs to end. You want to talk about men ain't nothing, and then don't understand how they got that way. Well, how many times you want to tell him he ain't nothing? How many times you think it takes for you to say you ain't shit? How many times you think it takes for you to say you a bitch? How many times you put? How many times do you think it takes for you to keep feeding that into him, and then be surprised when he start acting that way?
And when we're saying women, we're not talking about just women in relationships. We're talking about mothers,
for sure,
grandmothers, aunts, sisters, teachers.
How many? I saw a thing the other day where they said it was about a man. It was a joke, but in the comments, of course, there you find me. Women took the joke, and it went immediately into an actual situation. But the guy in the joke was playing a video game. First of all, let's normalize men not playing video games. First of all, video games are for people who like video games. Men, children, grandparents, whomever. A video game is what it is. I don't know not one 5-year-old that can spend $500 on a video game. So obviously some man or woman has to buy it. So video games are for those who like them. So let's kill the thought that he ain't nothing because he plays video games. or he ain't nothing because he be out there playing basketball all the time with his friends. He want to do is go play. Da 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 da. Understand that you do not hold all the cards to his happiness. There are other things that also make him happy. Now, if he is doing something way too much, I get it.
We got a question in the chat.
Question in the chat?
Because yeah, you was on one. Do you feel that men need to find a way to be more transparent, even with if it will hurt that person?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And that person has to understand your transparency is not. Now, by saying let's be more transparent, being more transparent is about being honest, being an open book, being honest and truthful. But your honesty and your truthfulness and your transparency should not come at the expense of the other person's feelings. But sometimes your transparency is going to make them uncomfortable, make them feel some type of way. And they have to learn that your transparency is not coming from a place of um belittlement, or it's not coming from a harmful or hurtful place. It's your truth. Right. And sometimes your truth is going to not be pleasant for the other person. That person has to be mature enough and understand enough when you're having this conversation that you're telling them how you feel, but you're not trying to be hurtful in that moment. You're just expressing your emotions and your feelings. Now let's talk about
Right.
how we can get past and heal to where I'm not feeling this way no more, to where you understand that you are not perfect. There are some things about you that need to be fixed, even if we are together in a relationship that needs to be nourished, nurtured, healed, therapy related things about you that hurt me, that I don't like. And in that instance, you both have to be open and willing to have that conversation. You can't ask me to be transparent, and then when I am transparent, you turn around and attack and point the finger and use that against me. Right. That is a major reason why men don't feel comfortable about sharing. That is the main reason why someone like Kevin Samuels had the audience that he had. There was a lot of things this man said that were true. See, and this is the problem sometimes. We hate the messenger so much that we miss the message. I don't agree with everything he said. Some of the stuff he said, he was going over the top, and I think he was going over the top on purpose for the shock value of it all. Same thing with people like I feel that same way about Boosie. Boosie says things for shock value. Um, my boy, my man Charleston White definitely says stuff for shock value. But if you take the time and listen when he isn't doing that, he says a lot of good things that make a lot of sense that will help our community, our people all the time. But because it doesn't come to people in the way they want it, or in a way that makes them feel safe and secure and nurtured, they immediately dismiss what that person is saying. Same thing happens when you're being transparent with your significant other. They want it to come to them in a way that makes them feel comfortable, safe, and secure, but it doesn't always happen that way. It can't always be that way because sometimes it has to come with the raw, true emotion for you to understand where I am in that moment. I can't sugarcoat and baby cake every conversation we have. Right. So I know I've said some things to her, and by expressing how I feel, that made her feel some type of way. I get it, and vice versa. But at the same time, the only way to be able to get through clear conversation and understanding and evolve away from those things and grow, you have to have those tough conversations. And if you can't have tough conversations, then a relationship isn't for you. If you can't have tough, honest conversations,
that should happen before
you can't be in a relationship because there are things that you can't see until you're in a marriage. I'll say this: there are things that you will not see or you can't see until you're in a marriage, because unless you've lived together and you've commingled finances and relationships and families and children and work life, until you get together and you mix all those things in together, you don't know certain things. You don't know how some people are going to react under certain pressures. And until that happens, you won't have that tough conversation. But there are a lot of conversations that people should have before they get married. And that's why I say premarital counseling with a professional, not just with your pastor, who's going to not, a lot of times pastors only speak to things from a biblical sense, and they don't get into real life questions that a professional counselor will get into with you. Right. Some pastors, some will dig and ask the right questions. Others are going to stay on the surface level and give you everything from a biblical sense. Whereas when you go to somebody professional, they're going to ask you questions. Okay, so what happens if your wife don't give you sex for 3 days or a week or 2 weeks? What are you going to do? How are you going to react to that? Those are things that you don't find out until you get into those situations. That's why that's one of those things.
So a lot of people don't realize how important therapy is before a marriage, during a marriage, because you get an outsider who has nothing to do with the two that's able to bring somewhat of a median point and get things across. And you'll be surprised. If you go sit in front of a therapist, the two of you, you'll say something, the therapist will say something, and the other person will respond, and you'll be like, I've been saying that for 2 years. But because it was coming from you,
but they weren't hearing
it because you two are in a different space than that person, the therapist is. They're not connected to that person. So when they say something to your significant other, it doesn't hit them that way, the way it does when it comes from you. So therapy is so beneficial. It's just not because something is wrong, but to keep things from going wrong. Or to, when things do go wrong, you know how to navigate those things. Now, so we can leave, I'm going to say this. Corey has done more talking during the woman's accountability session. I feel like he was really, really touched and tired, and some people that agitated him by way of things he'd seen, heard, and read.
Yeah, some women have touched me. He had and lack of accountability. Look, I've worked in environments that have been mostly women for the majority of my work experience. Yeah, so yeah. The lack of accountability is real amongst the women. I'm not saying it's not among men, but amongst women,
it's more detrimental among women because, again, we set the tone for the relationship itself because we are the emotional component of the relationship. And unfortunately, emotions outweigh logistics.
Emotions make you cry sometimes. Oh.
So again, the happy wife, happy life thing, it should be happy spouse, happy house. And to end it all, I'm going to say happy wife, happy life makes no sense.
And some women about to be mad at you.
So be it. Hopefully I can make them understand why I say it. When if they still mad, then hey, they'll get over it.
It's personal.
But you know why it can't be happy wife, happy life, and why women need to be able to take accountability is because we are emotional people first. If a man feeds everything about us to keep us happy all the time, we are going to drive bro crazy.
Cuckoo.
because we will swear to God we want something so badly in one hour. Give it a couple of months and it ain't even that deep. So that's, if nothing else makes you understand, happy wife, happy life should not be the slogan of your house. That should in and of itself tell you we cannot be ruled by emotions. People will tell you all the time in business, you don't make business decisions upset or in an emotional state because you can make the wrong decision because your emotions have no intellect.
Emotions make you cry sometimes.
Corey?
I'm sorry. See, she about to get emotional.
Emotions have no intellect. Hear me when I say this. Emotions have no intellect. Meaning, if I'm mad and upset and flying off the handle by something, my emotions can't in that moment say, you know, that don't make no sense, right? You know, you just got mad because he said no when yesterday he already told you he had something else to do. And you're asking him today, you forgot he said he had something else to do. And you're asking him to do this thing for you when he told you yesterday he couldn't do it or wasn't going to be home around so and so a time. And now you're saying, hey, I need you at 3 to do this. And he's saying, well, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. And now you pissed off and mad. But your anger in that moment has no intellect to stop and recall the man said he won't be here. So what am I really mad about? Your emotions don't have the ability to stop and think. You do. So the struggle for us is because we are emotion-based people, is we have to learn to feel your emotions, yes. But before you open your mouth, think about it. Think about it before you open your mouth. Hold yourself accountable before you open your mouth. Because I am one of those people where, like he said, the apology comes, but I don't like to apologize. I would rather just not say something that I'm going to have to apologize for first. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to walk away. I might not talk to you for days because I need to get my brain clear before I open my mouth. Because if I open my mouth right now, I'm going to say some stuff that's going to set your soul on fire. And because I know that about myself, I am able to be accountable for my mouth and I'm able to not say stuff that can hurt him because I just feel like doing that because that's where I am in my emotions. But I know my emotions have no intellect. And if I burn this man who I need to love me, who I need to give me all that I need as a woman, all that softness, and if I burn him, I'm not going to get that from him because he's going to be burned. He's going to be hurt. He's going to be in his feelings because I done went there and I done said some stuff that I had absolutely no business saying without thinking about who he is and what I was saying to whom I was saying it to. And then I'm going to be upset because I'm not being cuddled and held the way I want to be cuddled and held and forget he burned.
And I'm going to push on her other side of the bed.
I burned him.
Get from over here.
So you can't, you there's this thing that says, can you still play with the toy you broke? Ladies, can you, if you break it, are you still going to play with the toy after you break it? Or are you going to put it to the side and now you want another toy? Well, honey, you're accountable. You got to hold yourself accountable. You got to hold your mouth. You got to hold your actions while you're upset and angry. Or even if you're just super happy. Because there's some stuff that I will promise this man if I'm really super happy. And then I'll think about it like, God damn it. I know I'm not going to want to do that. Why did I say? You know.
Hey, and while she's saying that, I have a list I got a notepad next to my bed that when she be super happy and she tell me stuff, I write it down, fellas. Y'all better start recording that stuff, writing it down, keep track. I got a list, and I'm waiting
We
for my
have got
opportunity.
to learn to manage the emotions before we respond, before we open our mouths, before we this, that, and the other. You know, ladies, we got these lists of things now that go on. We got these lists that's like, oh, you know, we can't be in relationships with men who can't cover the bills and all these different things. Like at some point, women, we have got to look in the mirror and say, did I miss it? Did I miss the boat? Did I miss the man that was for me? Because I was so stuck in all that I think that I am, and I wasn't able to see him for all that he is. You so many of us are concerned about all that we want that we skip over all that we have. You as a woman can't get through life and can't build life on all that you want.
I want y'all to have a woman's accountability panel. I want you to grab a group of women and y'all sit down and have a conversation about this. That's what I want to happen.
Woo woo.
That's what I want. I want to see that happen. I want to see. We're gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that, y'all, for 2024. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen before the end of this year, but 2024, I'm gonna pull a panel of women together, and they gonna have an accountability
It ain't
conversation.
gonna be nothing but men in the building. You had
Mhm.
more men talking here tonight than you had women.
Because we was talking about being accountable.
I'm talking about women.
Yeah, we was talking about women.
Right.
But when we come back and talk about men and accountability,
it's gonna be full of women.
it's gonna be full of women talking in the comments.
We're gonna still have men,
Yeah.
but the women are gonna talk.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things where women are, again, we got to get to the point where we're okay with looking ourselves in the mirror and seeing what we are
And not
seeing
just
what
when
we
you want to
aren't.
put your makeup on. I'm just saying.
Good night, y'all. I don't.
Thank y'all for joining us tonight. We've been 2 hours on talking about accountability, women accountability, and we still need another show.
We do.
But I want to thank y'all for joining us.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, share, hit the notification button so you know the next time we're going live.
If you aren't watching from YouTube, if you aren't watching from the Passion for Perfect page, please do that. Please like on that side. A lot of people watch from our personal page, but you know, in order to get this thing moving and doing what we need
We're
to
gonna
do,
stop going live from
our
our personal page.
We are.
Yeah, because I mean
it's not helping.
It's not helping.
So please go and like and subscribe to the actual page so that
as well as the YouTube page.
Right. YouTube,
if you can watch it on YouTube,
Facebook page. If you're gonna share it, share it. Share the link from
the
we'll
YouTube.
always put the YouTube link in there, so that you can just share it if you want to share it, or tag somebody, but tag them from the actual page.
From the actual Facebook page.
Please,
for
thank
Passion
you.
for Perfect. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
all those things,
all those places,
all the platforms. For the most part, we're on, except Twitter. We don't have a Twitter, but ladies, it's important that we come down out of the clouds. It seems like we hit the stratosphere this year, with the first date thing, with the my man got her, my man got her, my man got her, my man. Like, we got to come down out of the clouds. The money situation, all these different things. Like, your best mate may have passed you by because you're still what you want. And some of what you want is not what you need. And you don't even know that because you haven't stopped and taken the time, for one, to heal from past hurts, two, to really get to know what balances your life out, three, because you think you are like God. Like God says, I am that I am. Like you think you are in that relationship. And that is not the case. That is not the case. It's two whole people, not one whole person allowing the other person to tag along. That is not what that is. It's two individuals, two sets of emotions, one a little stronger on the emotional side than the other, but they have feelings and they have emotions. And if they weren't the prize, why are you still looking for them?
Hey, and I'll say this, and we're gonna end with this. I am a hip hop baby, and I was raised on the Ghetto Boys, and I am a firm believer in the gospel of the great prophet Willie D. And Willie D has always said, "Yo, vagina ain't no more important than my penis." And I want y'all to start living like that, fellas. I want y'all to take that to heart. You are a prize. You are a king. You are loved. You are needed.
You is kind. You
And don't
is
you let these women tell you nothing else. Willie D said it best. Gangster love. And with that,
you is smart.
y'all have a good
You
night.
is kind. You is important. Really.